Congratulations on acquiring your new duel. Hopefully you've gotten used to using it by now, as suggested in the previous episode. When you open up your piano roll, you would see that the left side has a keyboard, and the keys are labeled with letter number combinations. More specifically, every white key is labeled with a letter and number pair. Every black key is labeled the same as the white key below it, except with a pound sign-like symbol in the middle. That symbol is pronounced sharp. I would encourage you to think of I sharp as being different than A, just like E with an accent is a different letter than regular E in actual languages. The notes on the black keys can also be represented this way. This slightly pointy-looking lowercase b-like symbol is read as flat.
Remember, they literally are just the same notes but named differently, in the same way that 2 plus 1 and 4 minus 1 both describe 3.
There are programs that have customization settings for view notes as either sharps or flats. It's alright if you don't have one like that, since when you're just normally discussing music, you aren't bound by silly restrictions like using only sharps or only flats.
Whether to use a sharp or a flat to write down a note depends on context. However, we only need to worry about that if we're scoring stuff. Since we're using a piano roll, none of that matters to us.
Notice that the letters repeat every 12 notes. That's because they're essentially the same notes, except they sound higher or lower.
So we are only really working with 12 categories of notes rather than over 100 unrelated notes. This really narrows things down, but for most songs, not all 12 categories of pitch are actually relevant. Instead of working with all of A sharp, B, all the way up to G sharp, you restrict your choice of notes by choosing a key.
What's a key? Well, we first have to cover what a scale is. A scale is basically a sequence of notes generated by starting on some note and then following some rule until you reach a note with the same name. For example, a C major scale is made by starting on C and following this rule. And an A minor scale is made by starting on A and following this rule.
Scales can be built upon using the whole half-step formula, and each different scale has a specific set of whole step and half step to build it. But first, what is a half step? Also known as a semitone, it is the interval between two adjacent notes. A whole step or a whole tone is equal to 2 semitones. A minor scale is built upon using a specific set of whole step and half step in an order. All natural minor scales use this specific set. That means you can apply this pattern to any starting note and you will get your desired natural minor scale. Try it for yourself. Other different scales use a different set though. For example, the major scale uses this set.
There's a whole bunch of scales that exist, but the only ones that matter to most people are the major and minor scales. So back to keys. A song written in a given key will only use notes from the corresponding scale. Most modern music is written in either a major key or a minor key. Touhou music is almost exclusively written in minor keys, so that's what we'll be focusing on. We're going to be doing everything in A minor for now, mostly because it's the simplest minor key to remember. It's literally just all of the white notes. Note that which minor key you use literally doesn't matter. Remember, the distance between the notes is what makes the song, not what the notes are themselves. A song can be transposed to any key and still sound basically the same.
One of the most important things to keep in mind is that the less your notes adhere to a key, the more dissonant your music becomes, and the more dissonant your music becomes, the more likely it'll sound bad. Unless you know what you're doing, you should always try to stick to notes in the scale. Otherwise, your songs might end up like this.
WHWWHWW WHWWHWW WWHWWWH